Hi, and welcome to Paper Route Scrapbooking. I'm Nadine, and today I'm going to take you on a tour of my craft room. Okay, so my craft room is right at the front of my house. There's my front door, and these are the French doors that go into the craft room. And they are beautiful, and they allow for a lot of light, but they take up a ton of wall space. So it's a little give and take, right? Okay, so as you first come in, this is the first shelf on the left. I have some pictures of my kids as they were when we moved into this house, which was a very long time ago. This little bug in the corner. Here, I'll close the door. Sorry for all the moving. So this little guy on the left, he just graduated from high school. This one in the middle just got married. And this one just landed his dream job. So they're all grown up. But I like to keep these pictures on my wall as a reminder of how far our family has come since we moved into our forever home. Here's some little crafts that I got from my grandbabies at Easter. I like to keep kids' crafts, sometimes from my students, sometimes from other family members that I know, because I find them a little bit inspirational. Okay, so walking in through the French doors, we have this shelf on the left. We'll do a little bit more of a close-up, but I'll just give you an overview. Closet. Not sure if I want to show you that. It's very messy. I have my Cricut Station over there, my Big Shot on my desk. This is my whole desk. Let's see if I can get it all in there. So I've created kind of a U-shape deal over there. And we've got my Big Shot, my printer, storage. I'll go through it in more depth, but this is kind of the basics, my recording stuff. I have some paper shelves that are, this one's rainbow order. This one is what I call like background sheets. So like wood grain and some mixed media stuff and some craft and some embossed cardstock and then patterned cardstock, coordinations cardstock, and then we move into like specialty papers, and then at the bottom is paper pads. These are my, what do you call them? Iris containers, and they're in these storage units, and they have my themed collections, etc. And then my shelf, oh my gosh, this shelf. This one at the top is my nemesis. We're gonna have to do something about that. Hopefully we'll make it into a series. Then we have my travel stuff and that sort of thing. So just a little overview, albums, whatnot, things at the bottom, and another iris storage and my Cuttlebug. And then we're back to the French doors and my puppy who's staring at me like I'm crazy because I'm talking to myself. Okay, so starting with this shelf here, we have 8.5 by 11 cardstock in rainbow order, and more of it down here on the first shelf. And the only one I actually think I buy is the white. I seem to be able to find other colors of colored cardstock free in places, garage sales and whatnot. And some of it I had probably before I remember buying it. I don't know. I've been scrapbooking a really long time. But most of it I think I've gotten given to me by people who quit scrapbooking or found it at garage sales and whatnot in the free box. Then I have a couple of close to my heart idea books. This is all adhesive, like extra adhesive refills and whatnot. This is magazines. This is overflow of metal embellishments. This is all Xyron stuff. this is my, let's see, this is sequins, wood veneer, and buttons, and this is my brads, and this is just magazines again. So we'll do a little bit more of a close-up of those. Okay, moving in close to the bins, this one in the top left has adhesive stuff. So this is full sheets of mounting adhesive by Thermoweb. This is Fun Foam. This one, I don't think I can get it open with one hand, but this is empty fine line bottles. Some of them were ones that were not actually fine line that I tried first and I didn't like, but there is an extra fine line bottle and some extra tips in there. And then I have refills for my Xyron. That's also refills for my Xyron. And so is this wood box. I buy them in bulk, I think from Tape Jungle. My friend actually ordered them online for us to share. And then we have Pixie spray and spray adhesive for those intricate dies. We have Scotch Create tacky glue. That's what I put in my fine line bottle with a little drop of water. And then I have my Suquang in 1/4 inch and 1/8 inch. And oh, this is Velcro that I use on the back of my Tim Holtz ink for the pads. And then moving down the shelf, a little close up of the other shelf beside, just my neutral 8.5 by 11. And I use my 8.5 by 11 for Cricut, for matting, and for journaling, because I can run it through my printer. These are my favorite idea books. This is all Xyron stuff. So here's my 4 or 5 inch Xyron, I think it's 5, and the refills for it. And I sometimes will pick up older refills at thrift stores or garage sales, if I can find them. And then the refills for the little X are in this box as well. And then here are some more idea books, magazines. These are Becky Higgins' old sketches books that I still pull out every now and again. And creative scrapbooker magazines. This is my overflow of metal embellishments, so like brads and eyelets, etc., etc. I hope you guys don't mind all the moving around. I like to see what's inside of other people's scrapbooking things, so I'm going to show you all the things. If you don't like that, just please feel free to fast forward or skip this video altogether. This is like neutrals. We got metallics. We got brown, a whole lot of brown. I don't know why. I guess brown is a thing. Red and pink, orange, yellow, I could probably mix those together, blue and green, and that one's empty. So that's just my overflow stuff, because I have my actual brads and eyelets in a different container. This is all Creative Scrapbooker Magazine, back when they were Canadian Scrapbooker Magazine, all the way up to when they changed their name. But I think I might purge these, I haven't decided. They're kind of taking up a lot of space and they're heavy, and I don't go back to the older ones as much as I think I'm going to. So, oh, I can't get that back in there. Okay. Over here, this is where I keep my actual, these are the brads that I go to when I'm creating. And I just refill them with that overflow, because I like to buy my stuff secondhand, and so sometimes it comes in really excessive amounts. So here we go. This is what Janet from RTS would call level 4 organizing, where I have it all organized by color and size. So larger brads, smaller brads. I don't know if you can see that. So like here's the larger size, smaller size. They're also organized by color, and some even by shade, like this orange is darker than this orange. These are the same size. Okay, does that make sense? And it's just rainbow order. And then over here we have some like spring colors. I don't use these colors very often, so they're in their own container. These are just little minis in multicolor, some neutrals. These ones they look like buttons. All right, so that's that. This is a Close to My Heart container. You can't buy these from Close to My Heart anymore, but if you ever see one, I highly recommend picking them up because they are spectacular. I love the way they look when you open them up. This is all sequins. I don't have a ton of sequins, but enough. And I don't use it as often as I think I'm going to. And then this is all wood veneer pieces in various shapes and sizes. And buttons in various colors. And then we have wood alphas. And I have 2 boxes of them because the alphas and numbers didn't all fit in one box. So that's that. Some buttons, wood veneer, and sequins. So that is my first little shelf for you. Okay, so I'm taking the plunge and being honest with you all, and I'm going to show you the disaster that is my closet. So this closet in my craft room, again, lovely, takes up a ton of wall space. It's hard to put shelving in here. So on the floor is boxes and boxes of Purge items that I need to get rid of, but I'm too lazy to post them on Facebook Marketplace and do the selling. And then over here is my crop bags on the bottom of my shelving. And then this fallen over disaster is, that's my old laptop down there. And I just need to clean it off and get rid of it. This is all project bags. These, see that even? Gosh, I don't know. So this had like page protectors in it. I don't know, can you even see that? Anyways, that's what I put my projects in. These 12 by or 13 by whatever bags. Those binders have class information in them from scrapbook classes that I took. This is this is a thing. It's a scrap rack, and it's got a bunch of stuff in it that I'll show you in a minute, because I'm not probably going to open these boxes because they are really hard to get out of the shelf with one hand. So here, let me see, what can I show you? So this is my sprinkles box. Now, if you want to see more about this, there is another video about it on my channel, and it's basically like my enamel and puppy shapes that are like tiny finishing touches, rhinestones, that sort of thing for the, when I finish up a page and I want to just add some sprinkles to it. So that's what that box is. This box is all my pocket cards that get ignored most often. This box is empty. This box is also empty. I don't like getting rid of storage stuff because then when I buy more product and I'm like, oh, where am I going to put this? And I had already gotten rid of storage containers, that bugs me. So now I keep all my storage containers, even if they're empty. This is just memorabilia from trips and whatnot. And this one is sheets of raw chipboard. So you don't need to look at that. It's just like if I get a package that has raw chipboard in it, I keep it because I can cut it using my Cricut. I can use it for, well, I used to use it in post-bound albums if I still have a post-bound album, which I do have a few that I'm still working on. And you can put them in between your sheets so that it expands the binding and it's not just a V-shape album, if you know what I mean. I don't know what those things are called. This is, oh gosh, this is so awkward. Okay. This is binder, or not binder, border strips. Inside of this little pencil box. This, this is just like Ziploc. Maybe didn't pick the best time of day for this. Look at the sun. Okay, so this is like little Ziploc bags, like mini bags from packaging that I keep because if I punch out shapes or whatever and I want to keep them with the collection, then I can just use those, reuse those bags. Empty. This is raw chipboard pieces. One there. And then I will take this scrap rack over to my desk and show you what's inside. My apologies, that was not very graceful. I hope I'm not making any of you nauseous. Okay, so here's my scrap rack binder, and I only have one, what they call spinder, but I'm thinking I might make another one. And all it is like Velcro on a binder, 3-ring binder piece. And this is, again, extra storage that I don't like to throw away in case I need it for another time. But it doesn't take up a lot of space, so it just stays in here. And it came with this, so it's like a pencil case, and this has like little loops to put your pens in. But I have different storage for my pens, and I don't travel with them often. But if I ever did, I have this storage container. Okay, and then I have these journaling Genies, which I still really like, so I keep them. One is like circles and stuff, and one is just lines, various different lines. And then it has some chipboard title pieces, some other kind of title pieces, some, this is where I keep my, like, not alphas, but like title stickers. So if it's like already a pre-made title, I guess, so pre-made titles. So these are stickers, grab-ons, stickers, 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 more stickers. This is one where I ran it through my Scrabble word finder and made some possible titles and then kept some of the extras. And then thickers, more thickers, more thickers, same thickers. These are banner pieces from some printables that I used for something else and then kept these ones here. These are border pieces. So these are gears and numbers. These are film strips. More film strips. This is what the gears and numbers actually look like. It's the back. And then I also have, this is where I keep, oh, this is cork pieces. And some chalkboard pieces. And then I have cut files in here. So if when I bring out my Cricut, which we'll go to next, after my closet, I will cut a few cut files at a time, and then I'll put them in this binder to use later. So this is how I store my cut files, and I don't use a lot of green cardstock, so I decided green was the color I was going to put in as, like, so that you couldn't see through the page. It's easier to see what your cut file is if there's a piece of cardstock behind it. So I'm not 100% sure where all of these are from. I think Cut to You. This is Cut to You maybe, I don't know. This one says paper issues, so that must be paper issues. But I'm not good at keeping track of that sort of thing. And so cut files. And then these are like previous to cut files where we had these laser cut sheets of paper. Kept some of those. More cut files. I need to use some of these, don't I? Instead of just collecting them. And then there's some where I took them out already. These are more of those chipboard close to my heart pieces that coordinate with the cartridges. So you cut the patterned paper and stick it onto the chipboard piece. There's more in the back. And then these are also close to my heart chipboard pieces. These are just empty sheets that I haven't used. And there's these circle pieces, and then the same set just in the back there. And that's it for my scrap rack. Okay, so I confessed my purge pile down here needs to go. Back there is a folding table and some chairs for if I have friends over, which doesn't happen nearly as often as it should. And then if we're talking about the top of my closet, I don't know, do we talk about the top of the closet? Okay, so this is a box of baby stuff from my kids. Empty shipping boxes. These are picture frames that I have for purposes that have not yet come to fruition. This is all extra large photos of my kids. So you know how you buy those packages and you have all these 8.5 by 11s and blah, blah, blah. That's what that is. This is all of the negatives and CDs that I have still. And if you want to know more about that, I have videos on photo organization. You can see more about that in those videos. Over here is another box. This is not baby stuff. This is from my teenage years of memorabilia. I had a couple of friends pass away, so some of the things that I have from that time are very important to me, so they have stayed with me all these years. These are calendars that my daughter-in-law had made for me, and I want to do something with them. I just don't know what yet. The photo album things right here, they have sketches in them, but I think I'm going to purge those too. Down here is a box of stamp containers from Stampin' Up, because sometimes if I buy a scrapbooking bundle online, I'll get stamps that don't have boxes, so I put them into some Stampin' Up containers to sell them on Facebook Marketplace. That is my clarinet. It also needs to go on Facebook Marketplace because I haven't played it in probably 30 years. God, I feel old when I say stuff like that. That is school memorabilia for one of my kids that needs to go in his box. This box is all of these Maya Road alphas, giant chipboard alphas that come in and out of fashion, that size. Some more school photos I need to deal with. This is a bag of bags. Do all adults have a bag of bags, or am I special? I don't know. This is my paper crimper, because who doesn't have a paper crimper? And this is my old Dynamo label maker, which I still hang on to, and I don't know why. And this is, well, in the front is stickers for my grandbaby, but it's actually a box of homemade cards for me to give away. I don't make cards very often, but when I do, this is where I keep them. These are my pre-digital photos, all organized by year. And that one's turned around backwards. Interesting. Back there is a photo scanner and also scans negatives. These are my kids' baby books right here. And then coming down, let me just cover you up so that I'm not making you sick. Okay, so on this side we have, these are my currently printed photos. So if I have a project I'm working on, the photos are printed and in this box, but as you can see, I'm printing faster than I'm creating because I'm overflowing up here. This is a little album that I want to use for my grandson's first birthday because it is Cat in the Hat. My friend gave it to me and he had a Cat in the Hat birthday party. This black box right here is my son's grad photos that we just got in the mail, and I just tucked them in there. There is, this is my grandson's first year photos that I've been working through, if you've been following my channel at all. And these drawers are full of stationery supplies. So when my nieces and nephews come over, or now my grandkids are getting bigger, there's like craft supplies in there, like markers and coloring books and that sort of thing, but also like, I don't know, geometry sets, calculators, that sort of thing. So I need to go through there and decide, now that I don't have kids in school, well, my oldest is going to university, but he's not probably going to take anything out of there. What do I keep and what do I get rid of? This little thing that's hiding back here is, oh gosh, do I even pull this out? This is, oh Lord, this is my advent calendar from when I was a child. You hang candy canes on it. And I broke the frame many years ago. I keep saying I'm going to get a new frame, and I never do. It just sits here. And then every year I hang it up without the frame because I'm cool like that. But anyhow, that's that. And I think that's it for my closet. Let's move on to my Cricut Station. Okay, so moving over to my Cricut Station, I have my baby photo and a photo of my parents. And then over here is pictures of me and my friends at various scrapbooking events, crops, adventures, mountain getaways, you name it, we've done it. We love going to crops together. We especially love the photo booths. And here we go with, I keep my extra mats on these 3M hooks. I just get them at Michael's. And then I have my Cricut Explorer. It's not an Explorer Air, it's the original. I got the very first one, and it does everything I need it to do. So I did get the little Bluetooth thingy, so I don't have to plug it into my computer every time. And then I keep my current mats, the one that I'm actually using, just slide under there. And my son bought me this, I think it's called an Essex, I can't remember, cart, from Michael's for Christmas last year, and I love it. And inside of here, I don't know if you guys can see that, are like the pens that go with the Cricut, the embossing tool, scraper tool, spatula thingy, and I think that's all that's in there. Stuff that in the cartridge thingy. I'm really technical with my terms. And then inside the Cricut, I have all of my tools that I need. It's inside of that part. And then my extra blades are in here. So that's how I keep those things. Then moving down on the cart, I have my sandwich goodies for my Big Shot. And below that, in this bottom drawer, I have my dies. I don't have a ton of dies. This is just how they are. I prefer my Cricut, but sometimes dies are faster, and also dies cut through things that I can't get my Cricut to cut properly without dulling the blade, like glitter paper. This is an extra light for my aught lights. This is ink for my photo printer and for my regular printer. A mouse and a mouse pad. I keep some of my tech stuff in here right now, like this. Not very interesting, but it's an external DVD drive because I own a copy of Adobe Photoshop that works perfectly fine for me, but my computer doesn't have a CD drive, so I use that to upload it. And then this is an extra phone. We need to shuffle our phones around here pretty soon. This is a drawer of packaging from collection kits and whatnot, because this is what I use when I make a page kit sometimes. Smaller page kit. More just like tech stuff, cords and extra mouse, cleaner. Oh, external hard drive. Yeah, of course. And then this is more like, remember how I said if I have storage things, I don't throw them out, I hang on to them in case I need them later. And these are things that also go inside of that scrap rack if I need them. And that is it for my Essex cart / Cricut Station. Now moving to the right from my Cricut Station, we have where my desk is starting. So this is my U-shaped, well, it's actually two of the same IKEA desks that I bought so many years ago. Like, I don't even know. I bought this one first, and it sat in my craft room. Used to be my laundry room. Can you believe that? Multitasking. That's what you do when you have 3 boys and foster kids. You multitask. You do laundry while you scrapbook. And so this desk is old and beat up, but it's still useful. I use it for, obviously, all the things. And under it I have my recycling bin, because I like to be as environmentally conscious as I can, because I am clearly have a hobby that is not super environmentally conscious. This is my trash can, and hanging down here, you can see this black cord is actually my heat gun. And I just keep it hanging there so that I don't have to put it away and pull it out and put it away and pull it out. Not that I use it as much as I used to. This is my Sizzix Big Shot, and these are just some candles. These little, I don't know, what do you call these? Rubbermaid drawers. This is my embroidery floss, and more embroidery floss. And this is other, like, I don't know, not floss, but like hemp, waxy flax, these elastic thingies from 7 Gypsies. This is where I keep my Scrappers floss from Karen Foster. I wish I could still buy that stuff, because the white one was like my favorite thing of all time. But c'est la vie. And on this side we have just random things, stamps, my ID card for school, like old ones, not the ones I need right now, not that I don't use them all that often, zip drives, batteries, cords, and Post-its. And then these are just things that my kids made me, these little jar things, and like I said, I don't get rid of storage containers because I'll use them at some point. And I have a paintbrush in here. I should probably put more of my paintbrushes in there. That's a really good idea. And then I have some just like family photos from photo booths that I love that stay in there. And then, like I said, I like to have kids' crafts around me when I'm creating because I find them really inspirational. My printer is a Canon Pixma MP560, and it prints all the things for me. It's very good. Printables, great, fine. But I didn't enjoy the way it printed photos, so more on that in a bit. This is my little, oh gosh, what do you call this? Another little craft from my boy. Like a stand where I put my sketches and stuff when I'm looking at them. So, and it's a collect-all, of course, as well. My iPad for watching Netflix when I'm creating. And I also have my mixed media mat over here. And these like Crop and Create ones I got at a Crop and Create in Calgary, and I use them when people come over to put on the table. And then I have, these are my stamps. Oh no, my mom gave me another one of those boxes and I left it at her house this morning. Okay, I'll have to go back and get it. Another visit with mom, darn. Just kidding. These are also stamps. Get the lid off. So this is a stamping tool, and then this is, I probably can't open it, but it's an alpha. So you can kind of like make your own word stamps. See that? Alpha, make your own word stamps. Yeah? Oh, now I'm making a mess. Okay. We'll clean that up later. This I won at a crop called Crop for Kids in Edmonton. That was for the Stollery Children's Hospital. It's a fundraiser. And it just holds all of my cardstock. So black, white, brown, gray, and those are the bigger ones. And then my little scraps go in here. So typically I don't keep anything smaller than 3.5 or 3x4 square in colored cardstock and whatever, but they're great for like matting a photo, matting a journaling spot, matting a whatever I have to put on a mat. And that's what I mostly use this stuff for. And so these are the smaller scraps. Anything that's small enough to fit in a Ziploc goes in here. I have another place for bigger scraps. And then my colored cardstock is just all in rainbow order in the following drawers: red, orange, yellow, green, turquoise, blue, darker blue, purple, and pink. And that's that. So that holds all of my colored cardstocks. Well, most of my colored cardstocks. So next to my colored cardstock holder tray thing, I don't know what it's called, I have Alex drawers, and these are new. I just got these at IKEA. I was super excited about them. I was able to rearrange some stuff and make my space a lot less crowded. So starting at the bottom, I have my finger daubers, and this is where I keep my, what do you call that, swatch from, and you can print these off Tim Holt's website or Ranger website, I can't remember which. I can link it below. These are Memory Maker's sponge tools, and I just have them in a little like drawer basket, and a mini mixed media mat in case I just need to pull it out. That's my one I take if I go somewhere. In here, gosh, this is something else. Hey, this is gesso embossing powders. These are like fake snow stuff. Brayer. This is texture paste. Oh my god, I love this stuff. If you haven't tried this stuff, you should. It's Iridescent Glaze by Vicki Boutin. Amazing. This is clear gesso for just gessoing the papers up. Paints and distress crayons. I don't have much mixed media stuff, but the little that I do have basically all fits in this drawer. This is the stuff I use for like the smooshing technique. Here's my heat embossing mat. It's kind of what you use for like to put your straightener on, heat resistant mat, but I use it for heat embossing. And then this is all the stencils I own. Paintbrushes, that should go in my trusty paintbrush holder that we talked about a minute ago. In here we have more paintbrushes and palette knives. And then we have, at the back, we have these just paint trays. And I just let them dry in there and throw them back in. And then my embossing tray to put embossing powder on, and my Versamark inks. And this is an embossing, like Versamark pen, but I've never used it, clearly, because it's still in the packaging. And then my punches. This is what I really wanted this drawer for. My punch collection was getting out of control, and I didn't have room for them all, and when I went to go look for one, I couldn't find what I was looking for. So this seems to have solved my problem. So over here we have circles. These are the most common shapes I use. So circles, this is circles, this is banners, banners and banners, hexagons, tickets, arrows. This one's a camera. Isn't that cute? That's from Creative Memories. I don't buy much from them, but their tools are epic. This is also Creative Memories. It's a tag punch. So tags and banners, tickets, arrows. Yeah. And then I also, these are kind of less used, but so all my banner, or not banner, what am I trying to say? Border punches are in there. And then some shape punches. So mostly leaves, snowflakes. I don't do a lot of flowers, but I do have this. Music notes and a sunshine. And then these are my other common shapes. So hearts and stars, basically. Hearts, stars, and room to grow. Don't you love that? That makes me so happy. Okay, confession time. This is a brand new unit, like I said, and I already have a junk drawer. Dun, 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 dun. But in fairness, this crap was all laying all over my desk before, and so now it's tucked neatly in a drawer. Extra long rulers from Michael's, my notebook for ideas. That is a toolkit. I don't know if I need to keep that. I'm on the fence. But I did use the hammer the other day to build this drawer unit. And then this is an extra ATG that I have, but it doesn't really work with the 1/4 inch tape. And I don't have any of the 1/2 inch tape, so it's just in storage right now. And then baby wipes. And this is my dimensional foam tape. Here's my T-square. And then this is all the chipboard that I talked about using as dimensional adhesive. So that's all in there now. Easy to reach for. And this is my overflow of glue dots. And on top of my Alex drawers, we have my ATG that I do use all the time, my paper trimmer. And then I have this little thing that is like I think it's a napkin holder that I just picked up for 25 cents at a garage sale. And it just holds my word stickers. Yeah. And then I have this little, let me back up a bit, shelving unit on top. And it has one of my lights for recording, photo printer, Xyron X, storage, more twine, ribbon, etc., etc., and some things. So we'll go through that. Okay, so moving in close, starting at the bottom. Here we have liquid glue, and I usually mostly use this for Cricut stuff. Glue dots. That's why I needed overflow of all the sizes. And then we have, this is like foam adhesive, smaller pieces, the letters that I'm going to use as adhesive bits instead of alphas because I ran out of vowels. And here's my purple tape. This is just a little fussy cutting thing I started and haven't finished yet, but I was going to cut these up and put them in my summer box. Then I have Scotch tape, these little eyes that I cut up from a printable for when I have little animals and I want to change their eyes, or Cricut animals. Sometimes building a Cricut animal, the eyes are complicated, so these were nice to just add on. Like, same with these. These are good for Halloween too. I should probably put them with my Halloween stuff. This little metal embellishment container has, let's see, Google eyes, charms, metal brads with the epoxy centers, photo anchors or photo turns, specifically shaped brads like sunshines and dolphins and Legos. I think these are arrows and music notes. We got some hearts. We got some metallic ones with words on them that were too big for my other brad container. And oh, there's my music notes. So this one must be just arrows over here. Music notes, anchors, that sort of thing. Hearts, stars, and too big for my other brad container. So that's that. That just sits up here. And oh, sorry, up here. Showing you things that you can't even see. That's not fair. Let's see. The back up there. And then we have this mini wood veneer stuff that I used for sprinkling on my pages. This is a USB port for extra ports on my computer when I'm recording, because sometimes I don't have enough spots to plug in all the things. And then we have a regular stapler and my tiny attacher. And up here we have my Creative Memories 2-way corner punch and my fine line glue bottle in my Make It by Marco stand. Back here is my favorite kind of hand sanitizer. It smells so lovely. And this container has little words and acrylic words and wood words. Boy, words are hard today. In this little plant pot. And this is from Studio Katya, and it is for putting small things like these bitty embellishments in and picking them out. It's actually made for sequins, but I use it more for my wood veneer stuff. And then I have crochet thread. This container is all ribbon, I believe, and fibers. This is all I have of ribbon and fibers. No, it's not. I lied. I have more. And this is all my twine. And I believe that is actually all my twine. Trying not to tell you a lie. Because we will find more things, I promise you, as we go around this room. And then on the top shelf, we have this little bin that I use when I'm recording, and I just put whatever embellishments I'm going to use for that layout, I toss them in here. And then we have my photo paper for my photo printer. I have an Epson PictureMate 400 that I bought right from Epson, and it's been well worth its weight in gold. This is my Xyron X that I use for my journaling strips and other tiny bits. These are rub-ons, and some of them are alpha, no, most of them are words. And then I also have, yeah, I have like embellishment base, cluster bases down here, craft, and I think gold. So there's that. And then in this drawer is wood veneer pieces that don't fit in those tiny boxes. So like a whole big giant banner piece, for example, and big words and stuff. So that's what's in there. And then let's see, I'll back up a bit so you can see where we're going here. So we've gone, oh, I'm making you dizzy. We've gone around my desk this way. Now we're headed over here. We have, so this is my blender brushes that I haven't had very long, but I do enjoy them. They definitely make stenciling much easier and smoother and more beautiful. And then my tissue box back here, nothing big. This is my washi holder. This is my little Ziploc of like, this is washi, but it's not on a roll, so it just sits up here. Anyway, so this is my like neutrals in the top, and there's room for growth back there. And this is my multicolor on the right, and then blue and green. And then my warm colors down here. And then at the back is all of my other ribbon. So remember when I said that's all the ribbon I own? No, this is the rest of my ribbon right here, and right here. So now you know the truth. I have more ribbon. Another outlet for recording, and I move these around. They don't necessarily stay where they're at right now. This is just where they fit. This is a little container I got from Niagara Falls a long time ago, and it holds my big scissors, my fussy cutting scissors, my X-Acto knife, and my poker, I don't know what you call that, like paper piercer, I guess. And then this is another thing that one of my kids made me, is a little flower pot, and the flowers are just flowers now. There used to be pens in there, but the pens died, so I got rid of them. And this is where I keep pens, these things, these popsicle sticks, when they come out of a rub-on package. And here's my journaling pen. Too. And then this thing, this is a drawer unit I got from Michaels, and it's just acrylic drawers. And in the bottom it has my VersaFine ink, and then some close to my heart inks that I use quite often. My roller stamps. Oh, there's a ton of them back there. Okay, and a couple of wood mounted stamps that I hang on to because I really like those hearts. And then in this drawer it's all pens. And I don't know why this is in here. It doesn't actually belong in there. And up here we have just a bunch of things. So we have refills for my retractable X-Acto knife. I just got these at the dollar store, piercing and scoring tool set. I'm gonna try them for hand stitching because this one that I have from a long time ago is too big. The holes are too big for the stitching. Refills for my tiny attacher, sanding stuff, bone folder, headphones. A whole collection of them apparently. My refills for my paper trimmer are back there. Erasers, my multi-purpose tool from Creative Memories that I use for rub-ons more often than I use those, you know, popsicle stick thingies. And I think I'm going to move this down because this is for mixed media. So that's just kind of a drawer with a lot of different things in it. It also has my distress tool. There. And then up here, I bought this like nail polish holder, and I just got it on Amazon, and it holds like my, what do you call them? Let's see. So these are like sprays, right? So Mr. Huey's from Studio Calico. I have some chalkboard ones from Tattered Angels. These are my acrylic paints that didn't fit in the drawer. These are Distress Stains. These are Vibes from Shimmers Paints. My Nouveau Drops. And my, this is my, what do you call that? The tool that takes off powder tool, EK Success powder tool. And it takes off the sticky from a sticker. This is my Lawn Fawn stamp chamois. These are my, what do you call these? Blender? Nope. Applicators for the ink. Refills and stickles. Yeah, so that's what that is for. And then coming back here, we have my computer, another light, my camera and my microphone for recording, and my Scentsy, and my chair, my lovely chair that my kids bought me for Christmas. It's super comfy. And then back in here, under this side of my desk, I have all of my distress inks. So I think I have almost all the colors, not the newest one. And then this, so this is neutrals, cool colors, warm colors, and then the acrylic blocks I have for stamping. In here is my printer paper and my photo paper. In here is my stamp platform, some other inks like my white inks and whatever. And in that is like my distressing tools. So that's also for mixed media, but it doesn't fit in those flatter drawers. And then those are my little Tim Holtz inks and some more finger daubers and sponges. Yeah. Okay, and back behind that drawer unit is where I hide my scraps of paper when I'm not using them. Let me see if I can just, it's easier to reach when I'm sitting in my chair, strangely. Okay, and then in here they're just like anything that is too big to fit in the Ziploc bag goes in here, and it's just organized by rainbow order, sorry. So that's that, and it's just one of these accordion folders from Michaels. Okay, so over here behind that desk we have a couple of vintage cameras that I've collected and a photo of my 3 boys when they were little. And then these are like what Kelly O'Black would call faux solids. So they're like background sheets that are primarily one color, and so they fit into like a rainbow order. And it goes all the way down. And so that's what I make kits out of. Or if I'm looking for a background piece, I'll use that. So that is, I know this is shocking, but it's right next to this giant window that I'll try not to show you all of because the sun is really shining, as you can see off to the right. But I'll show you what I do with that. So during the day, if I want the sun shining in here, which mostly only in the winter time because in the summer it's really hot and we don't have air conditioning because I live in Canada and it's not hot that often. But during the day, I wrap it up with the curtain. So the curtain goes, if I want the sun shining in here and my curtains are opened, they wrap around the paper racks. Yeah, okay. And I do have this big, beautiful window, which is lovely, but again, it takes up a ton of wall space. So I run out of shelving and I need to figure out how to do more vertical storage because this is not working for me. And then I have this other one. It has another vintage camera on top and a picture of me and my grandbaby, my oldest one. He made me that picture frame. Well, his little fingerprints are all over it. His mommy helped, of course. And then these are, okay, so this is like bricks and texture sheets. And these ones are wood grains. These are neutrals, these are colored. These are mixed media. No, these are rainbow backgrounds or rainbow papers that don't belong to a collection or anything. Some of them are like things that I made at some point. And then we have, these are the white sheets that I pull from page protectors in albums. And I just keep them because I can use them as matting pieces, or if I'm going to cover a page, a whole 12 by 12 in patterned paper, I don't need to use expensive cardstock. I just use one of these. And then I have these this craft paper pad, and then all the other craft papers I have underneath. These are my Bo Bunny double dot papers, cardstocks. And I used to have a huge collection of these, but they'll all be gone soon enough, I'm sure. This is my embossed colored cardstock, my embossed neutral cardstocks. I need more white. The white ones I have are like fall themed. And then, oops, I don't know what I just did. I hope you can still hear me. Corrugated paper, vellum paper. What's this one? Oh, this is embossed coordinations cardstocks. Yeah. And then I think this is also coordinations cardstock. Yeah. And this is like thinner and kind of like tissue paper-ish, homemade papers maybe, just like different textures of papers that I like to pull out every once in a while, like a specialty paper. These ones are metallic, so like these are gold hearts, gold or silver chevrons. These are like, and underneath is all of my sparkle papers. So like Basil has like papers that are just really sparkly. These ones are all specialty papers. Glitter, so like this is like rainbow glitter, but like this is just a black glitter sheet. And these ones, let's see, this is Vicky Bouton's pre-made mixed media sheets, and then underneath of there is like color wash, I think. Let me see. Oh, some of them are mixed media backgrounds that I made that I haven't used yet. Like this one, that one. And then I have this paper pad from Pink Paisley back in the day, color wash, that looked like mixed media backgrounds to me, so that's also in there. Then the rest is just paper pads. So an old Chamel, an old Maggie Holmes, and I purged a ton of paper pads not long ago, and I think I'm going to do it again. So that is that. So the rest is just paper pads, Tim Holtz, some DCWV, etc. Okay, next up to the right of that shelf, we have this beautiful little craft that my daughter-in-law made me with. This is the first time I got to hold my grandson, and it was very emotional. And then it's got this little poem that says, "You will always be my grandma no matter where I go, no matter years that pass or how big or tall I grow. Today I take my little hand and place it on your heart, so little me and you will never be apart." And then she got his like handprint on there. It's so cute. So I have that. And then this is his next album that I'm working on and layouts that I've finished this month. This is all you've got for a layout share for August. Sorry people. I'm not moving very fast this month. I actually have just gotten home from 3 weeks of holidays, which was lovely, but yeah, no scrapbooking. And then, so these are my bins that I have that are all by category. So this is baby. This used to be baby boy specifically, but I used it all in an effort to complete Quentin's albums, which I was pretty impressed with myself for sticking to that. And then little boys, big boys, friends and family, family fun, travel, more travel, because that's what I scrapbook about. Disney is also kind of travel, and theme parks is also kind of travel. You can tell what kind of travel we do. Sports, which also often goes with travel. And school, which I'm almost finished with for my own kids, but there's a graduation package in there for my grad album for my youngest. Birthday and love. Love holds wedding stuff and Valentine's things, so that's that. And we'll skip over this shelf for a second and I'll just show you these ones too. So on top of this shelf is my Cuttlebug and this book that my mom got me. So I love Anne of Green Gables, and I don't know if Americans know what that is, but she's a storybook character from a Canadian author. And then my mom got me this, Imagining Anne, the Island Scrapbooks of L.M. Montgomery. And it is just a really cool little book that I like to look at for inspiration, so it sits back there. This is an empty iris container for me to build a homemade kit. I think that's what I'm going to put the grad stuff in next. This is also a homemade kit for COVID that I started very eagerly and got cranky about and left it. Spring, summer, fall, winter, Christmas. Now we move on past themed items to, these are collection packs that don't fit into one of those categories, or the category box is full. How's that for confession? Page kits, so page kits that I've already built that I haven't made a page with yet. Some of them are page kits from classes that I haven't finished as well. And this is my thickers and my sticker alphas, my chipboard alphas that also holds some metal alphas and some acrylic alpha stuff. What's this one? Specialty papers, so that's like doilies and that kind of thing. Do you want to pull it out and look, because I don't know how to explain what's in there. So yeah, doilies, glitter paper, things like this. So like that. And there is some really random stuff in there. There's some of this clear inkjet paper, so it's like you can run it through your printer, but it's transparency. Adhesive sheets, a stitched on sheet that I want kept forever. This is like a sheet of mesh. Yeah, so like just different things like that. That's what's in there. And then, remember how I said almost all my cards, colored cardstock? There's my overflow box. Yep, how's that for honesty? Okay, so now let's take out one of these themed bins and I'll show you how I organize them on the inside. So here is my fall bin. And if I open it up, it has one of these trays. Now, not all of my organizers or all of my iris bins have these organizers in them because I was buying them on a budget and they stopped selling them on Amazon before I was able to get enough for my whole collection, I guess, of iris containers. But the ones that do, I like to put some of the lump and bump stuff up here, like the wood veneer pieces and corrugated pieces and like puffy stickers, enamel dots that coordinate, flare, chipboard pieces, that sort of thing. And then inside on the top of the bin will be other embellishments, usually, not always. So like in here, for example, we have like, you know, Halloween stuff mostly. And so if there's an alpha that's specific to one of my themed boxes like this one, it goes in the box instead of in with my other alphas. And then underneath of all of the stickers and die cuts and whatnot, I have paper. So anything that's either in a collection of fall or Halloween or Thanksgiving also goes in here, or if it's just themed that way. So some of them are collections, some of them are just themed papers. So like that goes with a Halloween set, Halloween, fall, you get the idea. Yeah, so that's what you can find inside of those iris containers in case you're curious. Okay, now back to this center shelf. On the top we have my little collection of Anne of Green Gables stuff, as well as some of my Ukrainian heritage stuff. So my grandma's family that I think I identify most with, my grandma of all my grandparents, she's of Ukrainian descent. Her family immigrated from the Ukraine and she's still alive. She's 91. She lives here in the same town as I do, and I just visited her yesterday and I just adore her. She's just the sweetest thing. So I have some nesting dolls and a traditional Ukrainian Easter egg from her. Actually, the nesting dolls are from my mother-in-law, but because she knew I wanted them. And the egg is from my grandma. This little rock is from my son. He bought this for me for my birthday because it's my birthstone. And it was just the sweetest little act of love ever. This is, yeah, something that reminds me of some important people in my life. And this is a little picture of my husband when he was a little boy that his grandma had in her purse, which I thought was really sweet. And when she passed, his dad gave it to us. So I keep it there too because it's special. This is an evil monster, and we're going to talk about that in a totally different video because I don't even want to address it. I don't know what's in there. It used to be like current projects, like I'm working on a few different projects, so they're going to go on here, and I don't know what happened to it. It's just a disaster. Anyways, that'll be a video from another time because we don't have time for that today. This is already long enough. This is my travel tote. When I go scrapbooking outside of the home, I take this with me. It has a lot of the same stuff you saw on my desk just in here. It also holds my crocodile. And it has this in it, which I use both at home and on the go. And it's a little, let me see if I can, embellishment container. So it's got acrylic pieces, metal pieces, just a bunch of different things. But things that are lump and bump, I guess. And it lives in there, but I use it both at home and on the go. so that I don't pack all my neutral embellishments, of course, when I go. This is just what I have in there, so that's what I take with me. There's my puppy. He's hanging out with us today. And these are my current page projects that I'm planning to work on hopefully next week. Albums, either current albums or to be started albums. Currently working on albums. This is my what do I call this? Embellishment box. Most of them are printables. Some of them are die cuts from, I think I've showed this in another video, but it's just organized by rainbow order mostly. And then at the bottom we have journaling spots, clocks, because I have a lot of those things, tags, but most of them are organized by color. So like this is pink and purple, for example, and it's just like die cut pieces, ephemera kind of stuff. Yeah. And these are, gosh, sorry, I just dropped the phone. These are things that don't fit into a specific collection, or they're just like, that's why they're organized by rainbow. What do I do here? We'll deal with that later. And then here is some more in-process albums. In-process albums. These are, let's see, what do we have? These are where I keep my close to my heart album refills. These are pocket pages beside, sorry, and these are transparency sheets, 8.5 by 11. This is an extra album I need to purge. This is an album I'm about to start. This is the one I do. I bought 3 of them, one for each child for graduation. This is page protectors, I believe, still, for my postbound albums that I'm not finished with, like that one. And what do we have here? Okay, so this is a little bit of not my favorite storage solution, but in here are my Cuttlebug folders. So I use my Cuttlebug for embossing, and I use my Big Shot for die cutting. I don't know why, that's just my comfort zone. So these are all of my Cuttlebug folders and plates. Okay. This is a box of stitch piercers, so easy. I do love hand stitching, but I don't think this is my jam. Like the different kinds of stitches. I don't know. I haven't bought into it yet. We'll see. And so that might have to get purged. And this is just extra containers and extra scissors that I've acquired over time that I haven't used, but they're in there. So that's what's in those smaller boxes. This goes with that So Easy thing that I was just showing you with the piercing. I don't know. I got it at a garage sale. It was super cheap, but I don't know if I'll keep it because I haven't really used it. These are my circle cutters. I obviously have more circle cutters than is necessary. So again, I need to go through this box. But this, inside of this transparency box, is my Cuttlebug. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those, but they're basically a pre-die cut. I think I'm going to keep the Cuttlebug mats though, because they're really good for piercing. I might have damaged this one. But like, they were like these, and you put an X-Acto knife that had a rotating blade, which is like a special one, and you cut out your shapes. So there were tags and circles and whatever. Yeah, so I think I need to purge that too, because I don't need it anymore. Yeah, anyways, so those boxes are some that I haven't gone through yet. So that's it for my scrap room tour. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to find links to a couple of the things we talked about, just click that show more button down below and the link should be there. And if you would like to see more of my videos, I would love it if you would be a subscriber. If you liked today's video, please hit that like button and give me a thumbs up. I'm happy that you stuck with me today. I hope I didn't bore you or give you seasickness by moving around so much. But I know that scrapbook room tours are very interesting to watch and see how other people organize. I hope you enjoyed it too. And I hope you all have a fantastic day. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I very much appreciate it. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.